kind of poetry that really interests me is the poetry that arises out of a precognitive perception of something, and that is then retrospectively recovered and written down. That moment before thought arises, and a state of dualism or a dichotomy between the poet and the object or event occurs. That is particularly true of, I think, the highest form of haiku, which I don't really think of my poetry as. That is poetry that is not trying to do anything particular or to say anything specific. When I was living in Japan, I became the first foreigner to enter the G-sect of Japanese Pure Land Buddhism, which has a Zen approach to Pure Land practice. The sect was founded by a monk called Ippen Shonin in the 13th century. And Ippen Shonin was a hijiri, or wandering monk, an itinerant monk. And there were many of these monks from different schools of Buddhism, wandering throughout both China and Japan. And as they practiced, they sacralized the terrain with both prayer and with poetry. It took me some 20 years before I would actually agree to accept ordination, because I was very aware that I was hypnotized really by all the paraphernalia of Buddhism. Monks, temples, bells, Buddhist rosaries, chanting and so forth, like most Westerners. But once I saw through my projections, then I could agree to take on robes. But wearing robes doesn't necessarily mean that one has attained any level of enlightenment. What it does mean, though, is that you have committed yourself to a certain path. with a lot of the remaining, well, too few remaining, indigenous cultural paradigms. The traditional Japanese cultural mindset sought kinship between themselves and nature. They saw themselves as essentially part of nature. These paradigms, of course, are in stark contrast to our own cultural mindset, based as it is on an inherent dualism in Greek philosophy, which was then extrapolated from by the so-called European Enlightenment, which then went on to create a consciousness which is overly dualistic and objectifying. And it's our cultural mindset which I think effectively evicted us from the planet, from Mother Earth, which had been prefigured, you could say, in our unfortunate creation myth, which not only describes the birth of dualism, but also it describes, or rather demonizes, nature, woman, and all that is feminine. Now, with our concern for the damage we've done to the planet, we are approaching our environmental and conservation concerns from a purely scientific understanding of nature. This has been the problem in the first place, and it'll continue to be so in all our attempts at allowing the planet to recover her own natural integrity.